Two things I always say: don't believe a word that I say, and no learning allowed whatsoever. I just want it to be an environment of play. Why? Well, how many studies have they done where they said if you try to teach somebody something, it takes them 400, 500 repetitions, but if it's done through play, it's like 10, 15 repetitions. It's like the first time you hear a song, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Our guest today is a man who doesn't just work in education. He's a disruptor, a renegade, the self-proclaimed bad boy of early childhood. He spent the last 2 decades in the trenches witnessing firsthand what he calls the BS of traditional schooling, especially the often worthless master's programs that fail to equip teachers for the real world. He's an author, motivational speaker, and creator of the internationally acclaimed behavior mastery system and Yogarate. But more than titles, Ron Shuali is on a mission to ignite a revolution in the classroom. He works with teachers to unlock their hearts and open their minds, helping them create environments where our most valuable assets, neurodivergent and exceptional leaders, can thrive. Please give a big, loud welcome to the one and only Ron Shuali.
Woo! Was I supposed to be welcoming myself too? Is that all right? Yeah! Everybody watching, give yourself or listening, give yourself a round of applause. Yeah! Let's go! How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing phenomenal, brother. You know, couldn't wait to speak with you.
Aww.
Obviously, did a little bit of research, and I tell you what, I want you to come to my school and do a PD because I've never had a PD that seems that fun or exciting. The only problem is I don't work in early childhood education, and so you are the first guest that I've had on that is in early childhood. So you're bringing value to the podcast.
Well, luckily for you, you have amazing timing that I'm actually now going to be branching out into elementary schools, especially down here in Broward County, where I live in Florida. So it's so interesting that you say that.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's awesome. It's much needed.
Absolutely.
So let's dig in. Okay, you've been in the education field for 20 years. Can you elaborate on the flaws in formal teacher training and higher education that led you to such, a strong opinion?
Everything is brain-based. It's, in my opinion, again, my opinion only, everything in education is brain-based, and that's the way that it's designed to get people into their jobs. It's a beautiful system. It's an 8-hour day to get you ready for an 8-hour job. I mean, it's perfect. Unfortunately, that not everybody's designed that way. And just from seeing how I felt as a neurodivergent, exceptional kid in school, even in elementary school, I would be looking out the window. Why am I learning this? Why do I have to learn this? I don't understand it. I want to learn about dinosaurs. I want to learn about robots. I want to learn about this. But unfortunately, that just wasn't in the curriculum. So that's where I just never felt like I was supposed to be there. And then through life, I would meet more and more kids that are just like, they're like this and they're designed to be outside. They want to play. They want to run. They want to, all this different stuff. I mean, not everybody, but I mean, at least a good 5%. And I mean, that's the statistics. I don't know if you know that 50% of statistics are wrong.
Whoa. Okay.
I don't know. I just made that up. It's a statistic.
So you just mentioned about your personal experience. So I want you to dive deeper into that. That's a question that I ask every single guest. I want to know their personal journey with education, and not as a practitioner, but as a student growing up, elementary, middle school. Tell me more about that, your neurodiverse experience.
So I was born in Haifa, Israel. My mom told me I was the most oppositional child she's ever met in her entire life at age 1. Came to New Jersey when I was 4, so did preschool all the way up to fourth grade there. Walked back and forth to school every single day. So whether it was, in the 3 feet of snow, whatever, the old storyline, uphill both ways without shoes. You didn't have shoes. I didn't even have feet. And then moved to Central Jersey for fifth grade. Growing up, I was super oppositional. I would be rebellious towards teachers, and I wanted attention. Just unfortunately, in my nationality, attention is not a thing that is really given a lot. There's not a lot of love. There's not a lot of I love yous and hugs. It's just everybody's military. Everyone's a certain way. That's just from my experience of my family and every other Israeli family that I've had. So I was constantly looking for attention. I remember one of the first things that I got attention for was I was watching Sesame Street. This was in first grade. Most of the kids in the class didn't like me. The teacher couldn't stand me because I was smarter than her in certain areas, because there were certain passions that I had in life. I can name, we did dinosaurs. She's like T-Rex. I'm like, no, Tyrannosaurus, maybe the Allosaurus, maybe the Stegosaurus, maybe the Velociraptor, maybe the Triceratops, maybe the Ankylosaurus, maybe the four-legged, long-necked Brachiosaurus or Brontosaurus or the Pterodactyl. Are you talking omnivore? So it's like they don't like that. Back in the day, I was born in 1995. So that was back in the day where teachers were right. There was only one answer, and that's it, done. So I'm watching Sesame Street, and I heard a joke. And the next day, she's like, okay, we're going to do science. And she asked the class, why is the ocean salty? And then like the universe, God, karma, whatever, gave me the comedy gods, sent me the joke from the night before. And she asks, why is the ocean salty? And I yelled out the answer to the joke the night before, because fish don't like pepper. And the whole classroom erupted. She got mad, kicked me out, and every endorphin and dopamine system in my body went, that's it. And from that point on, I told my mom, I'm like, look, I need books. I need joke books. She took me to B. Dalton Bookstore. I don't know how old school you are. And there was a rack. I wanted jokes, and the lady pointed me to a rack of jokes. It was kind of like that rack where we used to have those Cliff Note things, you know what I'm talking about? When we didn't want to do our work, so we just did Cliff Notes instead of using AI right now. I just grabbed these books. They were called Truly Tasteless Jokes. If I mentioned one joke to you right now, you'd hang up on me because you wouldn't want to be canceled. But anyway, it's the. Are you familiar with Don Rickles?
Yes.
It's everything Don Rickles would say, but worse. It's just insane or whatever. So, my brain memorized all those jokes, and I just became a comedian. I would get kicked out of class. I also like to fight a lot, because fighting and wrestling, I'm this thing called a boy, which means boys love to wrestle, and they love to tussle, and they love to move, no matter how much people's brains tell them, whatever, this is an alpha male, and I don't like it because I have trauma from my past, so I don't want this alpha male to possibly be, it's like, this kid could be a jiu-jitsu all-star, but you're going to put your trauma on this kid, and now you whatever. So anywho, what was the question?
Just telling us your personal educational journey.
Yeah, so I don't know if you could tell I'm a little ADHD. G meaning gifted, not disorder. Disorder is, it's like I was, so that was also too, I was diagnosed with ADHD. They said you should have all these Ritalin, Adderall, Mountain Dew, whatever the thing was. My mom's like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you going to medicate him? That's like stupid. Like, she had common sense because she wasn't under the programming that was already happening from the 60s about the only way to solve anything is with this little thing taken. Only pill I wanted to take is the red pill that Neo got. And I did. Anywho, so that was my experience. I got into fights. I didn't like anything that was going on. I was super oppositional, but like my brain was running me. Again, like we started at the beginning talking about how our brain is designed. So it's like my brain tells me I don't like my fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Danish, and it's okay. We don't have to, I can mention her name because she's not here anymore. And basically, like I didn't like her because she had her heart shut off. And that's the thing that I know now. She had her heart shut off, and I'm sure when she started, she was loving, she was joyous, she was wonderful. No one goes to become a teacher because of money. So it's got to be something, the spirit, the soul, something that connects them to go, I need to help kids, whether it's a trauma from their past that goes, I want to make sure this doesn't happen again, or genuinely, oh, this is cool. Only fun I want to have is teaching kids. Like I teach preschool kids Yogarate and karate. I don't think there's anything more fun than playing with the kids. If they lose focus, I stop and go, peanut butter chicken fingers. And they go, no. And I'm like, yeah, no. And then like my inner child sings and we go back to Yogarate or something, which is also what I teach teachers when I do my unprofessional development, how to connect to their heart. So for me, it was just, I didn't like things to do. My brain was oppositional. So it would tell me, I'm going to show Miss Danish that I am going to teach her. I'm going to fail math to show her. And like, that's how the brain thinks at that point. But she had disconnected from her heart. I really didn't meet a lot of people in my travels that I can think of elementary school, middle school, junior high school, which I all did in East Brunswick, New Jersey, high school, where people were really passionate about, like I'm thinking, I can see people's faces. I don't remember anybody being passionate about anything in high school. Wow. Only passion I remember through high school was when I started doing Taekwondo at 13 and I met my true, like, strong father figure, which was great. My dad's a great father figure in the term of working hard and having a job, and my mom didn't have to work and the whole thing. But alpha male, no, that was this guy, Tim Mertens, that was just like Taekwondo insurance guy. When he had a bad day, he'd come in, everybody's doing push-ups. Sir, yes, sir. And a 12, 13-year young kid, I'm loving it. So that was like the discipline that I liked. I liked the physicalness of it. But again, I mean, I'm still staring out the window. The only thing I knew I wanted to do was be a pro wrestler. When I was 12 years young, I saw Hulk Hogan get interviewed by Mean Gene, and I'm flipping through the channel, and it's Saturday Morning Superstars, and all of a sudden I see Hulk Hogan going, let me tell you something, brother, and I'm going to this, I'm the Ultimate Warrior, and I'm going to take care of you, Andre the Giant. I'm going to pick you up over my head, and I'm going to bring you down. I'm just like, I don't know what this is, but I want to do it. Because I wanted to be seen, and this guy was being seen in front of 90,000 people. So finally, you look at me, Mom. So, push it down as we're taught. Push it down. I'm kidding. I don't push it down. I express myself. I've learned, especially through the last 5 years of being in South Florida and doing multiple plant medicine ceremonies, which are still a little woo, but in 5 years, it's amazing. I have learned more how to connect with my heart, connect with my inner child, and connect with my inner bully so that everybody is unified on a front so that if, for example, like that's how trauma happens. It happens outside of us. Our body has an experience and then it holds on to it and it tries to figure out a way how to never have it again. So when I got bullied as a little kid, by the way, before the Taekwondo, my parents talk about oppositional. They couldn't figure out what to do with me regarding grades because to them, grades were important because they, coming as immigrants to America, fell into the same perfect programming of college is key. Right. And there's no if. So every single time, and especially because we're taught brain-based, like we have our brain will say a sentence to us, and then that will just take away any critical thinking whatsoever. If I came to my parents, which I did, and said, I want to be a pro wrestler, as soon as I heard about Hulk Hogan and saw it, and I started to watch wrestling, I started gymnastics, working out, improv classes, comedy classes, all these different things to be ready. So when I graduated high school, I can go find a wrestling school. They didn't care. Doesn't matter. My mom's addition to me was she told me her helping me become a pro wrestler was when she said, I'm not going to push you around in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. You're not allowed to do it. Which again, I mean, I don't understand how, knowing me for 17 years, you're telling me you can't do something. You're not allowed to do it. What was she expecting? I don't, So seeing Hulk Hogan and I was super oppositional before being always being super oppositional. Their programming was grades. That's what I was going. So grades in college. So their thing was, you're going to be the first one for our family that's going to go to college. And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, what is this? What does this have to do with me? Years later, as I discover more about the brain and our stuck programming, and try this on, and for those of you listening, my mother wanted me to go to college to become a business manager, business management. And she wanted me to go to a really good college, not a college I wanted to. So that, here's the deal. I want you to get something. She wanted me to spend tens of thousands of dollars, commit 4, 6, 7 years. That's something I didn't want to do. Why? So when she's sitting around a dinner table with her 3 friends and they're talking about what is your son doing, she can get a 7-second dopamine hit when she goes, my son's in business management and my son is doing this at this college. And her stupid friends would be, oh, and the waiter comes, would you like that? Yes. And that's it. A 7-second rush. And people do that to crush the lives of their kids. I can't tell you how many times I've done a training. I did a training a couple of months ago where this one lady just, she couldn't understand why her son dropped out of college. He works at Home Depot. I'm like, well, tell me about his experience at Home Depot. Oh, he's too happy. He loves it. He does this. He knows everything about everything. I'm like, does he do his own side projects? Yeah. Okay, great. So what is he's like, yeah, but he's going to, I'm like, how much of your story and your trauma are you putting on this kid? It's like, look, I mean, you're making it seem like you grew up in Boys in the Hood and he's still there where you busted your butt to not have him be in the situation, but the programming is stuck so much. And that's what I always had this gut instinct. I respond a lot with my heart and my gut, which I was always super emotional. I knew there were so many things wrong. I knew that there were so many things. And after you learn later on that the whole public school system, let's be real, the government school system is designed to create worker bees, which again, I have no problem with it. I love it. If your kid is a worker bee and they wake up and they have no creativity whatsoever, awesome, great, fantastic. We need people like that. But the problem is it's not designed for the neurodivergent exceptional kids, which is why I'm such an advocate for micro schools and homeschools and unschooling, all that stuff. I'm going to take a breath.
Gotcha. Man, wow. So
6 hours.
That was a lot to unpack. But you mentioned a key word in there a few times. You mentioned heart. You mentioned teacher's heart. You mentioned some of the things you did to help you connect to your own heart. And what I want to know is Mrs. Danish, I believe you said her heart was closed or, whatever. Yeah. What does a teacher's heart look like when it's closed? And what shift happens when it unlocks?
Have you ever had your heart broken?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so when you had your heart broken, did you ever have your heart broken as a teenager?
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember the kick in the chest?
Yeah, 100%.
So you know exactly what I mean, the Sparta kick in the chest.
Yes.
That is also the same thing a teacher feels when a parent runs up to the teacher at the end of the day when they're still in ratio, trying to figure out, taking care of all the kids, trying to make sure that every kid is going home, and the parent had a bad day and they were bullied by their boss, and they asked the teacher a question that they know the teacher doesn't know the answer to, and the teacher goes, oh, wait, hold on, what, Billy? Sorry. And then the parent runs, and this is just one example of many, and the parent runs at the director as fast as possible because their child wants a tattletale and go, this teacher did this, and I didn't say this, and if the director is trained by me or somebody else that's heart-based, the director will go, thank you for sharing. I'm going to look into it. I will get back to you. Let me help you with your child, and I'll call you tomorrow when I figure it out. But some directors are not designed that way. Some people are run through scarcity, or they respond oppositionally. So they'll go, oh, are you serious? And just believe the parent. Why? Parents lie all the time. We're humans. We lie all the time. Any person right now that tells me you don't lie, ask them, what did you tell your kid about Santa Claus? Exactly. So then the problem is then the director goes to the teacher and goes, so-and-so said this, so-and-so. And she says it in a way that's aggressive because she didn't take my captain of the ship workshop. And then the teacher looks at this director. It's like, but you know me. And you know I wouldn't do that. So why would you even and then that's it. Heartbroken. Off. The problem is that we don't realize that when we do that, it goes 24/7, 360 with everything. So your heart is off for that director, but you don't realize, unless you realize, oh, I shut my heart off for that director. You know what? F that director. Forget. Whatever your brain said is totally on to you. You cut the energy core with that director. You go, you see that director? You go, you see a parent? Hey! but we don't know that we have that power. We don't understand that we have the power to choose any way that we be, because we've been taught to believe that other people can make us feel a certain way. You made me mad, you made me sad. That never happened. That's a lie. That's another zipper, as my wife tells, that pulled over your eyes, which is all about covering things up and taking away your power and your responsibility. You make you mad, you make you sad, you make you depressed, you make you jealous, which is great because then you get to help yourself get out of it as opposed to looking externally. So the teacher that doesn't know that, the more you shut your heart off, the more the programming in the brain activates. So now the teacher is also going to respond to anybody that reminds them of that director or that principal. And if you're the kid of that director, so you get how, like, literally all that stuff. So now, to answer your question, you have a conversation with me, or you have a conversation with somebody that is not a person that has a practice that is designed to keep you coming back over and over and over and over again. You want to really solve your problem? I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you amazing things that worked for me. January in 2001, we're talking 24 years ago, I took a seminar called the Landmark Forum. And it still exists to this day. And in 3 days, you will transform your life. And it is magical and it is amazing. And you will discover what stories your brain made up about a certain thing. So what happens is, like, this thing happens. This person says this. The story that our brain makes up about it is they said this, they're this. Then our brain mashes that up to be our truth. And then we respond to everything based on that. Like, have you ever had a situation where you thought one of your friends is mad at you and like 3 days don't go by and they reach out to you going, yo, are we cool? Like, are you mad at me? No, I thought you were pissed at me. Oh, no, we're good. Yeah. It's like stupid because people are taught to believe their brains. Oh, he did this. They're talking about you. They don't even know. There's this guy I watched, Julian himself, amazing guy when it comes to his transformational work. And he brings people up on the stage and he goes, tell me what they're thinking about you. Tell me. And it's really sensitive and it's really intimate. Groups of 20, 30 people, which I want to get to that level of doing it, but it's super intense. And he'll be up there. It's like, what is this person thinking about you? And they're like, they're judging me. They're doing this. They're doing that. And then he goes, great. Sir, what were you thinking? He goes, huh? I was thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner, what restaurant I'm going to go to. And then he does it like 3 more times. What do you oh, she's judging me on my outfit. And the lady's like, what are you thinking? She's like, I was thinking how pretty your eyes are. And it's just, you just start discovering that the more and more we've been programmed that this thing that says words to us has any validity whatsoever. Your thoughts are just, there's this guy, Kevin Hines. He jumped off the San Francisco bridge, tried to commit suicide. Universe, God, a Coast Guard, a person on the bridge, and a sea lion. We're looking at his story, had different opinion. So he's still alive. He does these talks. I met him. I did a talk for this organization called NAMI, National Association of Mental Illness, and he did one there as well. And he says, your thoughts are just your thoughts. Your thoughts don't have to become your actions. Your thoughts can just stay your thoughts. Why do you think people kill themselves? Because they keep believing this thing, and then people also don't understand that now, because of these nightmares, the worst thing ever created on the planet, not even nuclear bombs, these things, now we are addicted to dopamine every 5 or 10 seconds, and the brain has gotten faster because it needs to keep up with these things. So blah, 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 and it never shuts off.
Wow.
So I also like to give people tools that I've discovered. Like, here, try something. Ready? I want you to ask yourself a question, and the question is this. So when I say the question, ask yourself in your brain. Cool? Super simple. Okay? I wonder what my next thought will be.
Okay. Got it.
What happened?
I was focused on wondering what my next thought would be. Okay,
but was there anything there? A thought?
Yeah.
What was it that you're wondering what your next thought would be?
What I have to do? What I have to do later today?
Okay, so most people, when I do this, and maybe because your brain is Rev too, I'd love to hear from people that listen to this what happened. When I do this with the crowd, most people, when I ask them to ask themselves, I wonder what my next thought will be. Usually it just goes blank.
Gotcha.
Usually it just goes blank because wonder is not part of the brain. That's not the brain. There's so many things the brain loves to do. The brain loves to be right. We will spend time, energy, and years by the way, being right is not real in reality, it's just in our head. But we will spend 5, 10, 15, 20 years being right about one thing that this one person did. This person hasn't thought about you in 15 years.
Right.
But you have so little going on in your life because you don't even attempt to take on your heart. You don't sing, you don't dance, you don't perform. You're not brave enough to be like some people that are 60 and 70 going on America's Got Talent now and becoming rock stars because your brain is on, your heart's been shut off, your gut's off. You're choosing to be a coward, and it's nothing against it. I choose to be a coward. I wanted to go skydiving. I'm choosing to be a coward right now about it, and I have no interest anymore. That's what I do. But there's also a lot of VR things that you can do, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So it's like when you ask yourself, I wonder what my next thought will be. Usually it goes dark. It goes quiet. And then you have like a 2-second window to take that breath. Because that's the problem. People get activated by something. So a kid, like I can't tell you, like I work in these elementary schools down here, and I've heard teachers like talking to a third grade kid going like, look at me when I'm talking to you. And immediately the kid starts doing this.
Yes.
All over the place. And I think it's funny. I mean, I'm a Jim Carrey and a Chris Farley and a fan of Sebastian Maniscalco and people's faces. So I think it's funny, especially if the teacher's mean and she's not interested in looking into herself and why, and she'd rather choose to be mean and upset for the next 30, 40, 50 years as opposed to considering for one moment that maybe it's her and she can figure out why she's stuck in being mean. Like, I mean, I've met people that I'm like, how young are you? Like, I'm 35. It's like, well, you can do this. Give me a 15-minute conversation. Like every unprofessional development that I do, I don't do PD, I do Unpd. I offer 3 months of free coaching for everybody there on Zoom or on the phone because things pop up in their head and they're like, oh my goodness, I've been making this person wrong for 10 or 15 years, but I couldn't imagine. I'm like, great, let's call them. Well, I'm like, even if you don't, you know what, then if you don't want to have to, fine, write a letter to them. Write a letter to them and then don't ever send it and do it. And the important part is to get your emotions out, energy and motion, express yourself. And then I say, now grab onto a pillow and yell into it for about 30 seconds, cry, scream, rage. That's the other thing too. When you're brought up in a society that's focused on education, which is to give you and download information, which is what the opposite of I do. I do eduction, to educe, EDUCE. I figure out what energizes you and what vibes you and what activates you. Like in a staff seminar, I can have 300-400 people doing a Unpd training, and I have a soundboard. I actually have it over here. I have a soundboard that I use, and I'll hit a button over here that says SC. See? And then when it says SC, you hear the whole arena go. The sound goes, Sweet Caroline, and then it cuts. And then hopefully people go, ba, ba, ba. And then we start singing and we start vibing. If that's not working, I got a whole entire thing of old school Gin and Juice, Just a Friend, Nelly, what's it called? Sorry, Miss Jackson, Hip Hop Hooray. I got all these sing-alongs that we do just to get the vibe going. But you know what? Sometimes the sing-alongs ain't working. They don't want to do it. So we just go into a 10-minute like yoga chair stretching pose. We're just doing this or breathing or whatever. But it's whatever they want to do will always get me back to the 2 or 3 points that I have to get to in my 3 hours. But we just did sciatic stretching, lower back stretching, carpal tunnel stretching. We just learned fire breathing, cold breathing, jellyfish breathing. We watched 4 different videos that are just designed to have people laugh. Like I showed you. You know who the Chewbacca lady is?
No, I don't.
The Chewbacca mask lady? Oh, I don't have it with me. She's got, everybody look up Chewbacca mask lady, and it's a lady, she has a Chewbacca mask, and when you put the mask on your chin and you open the mouth, it goes like that. And then she starts laughing, and it's hysterical. And then I show it with people, and then they don't know that I bring out an actual Chewbacca mask, and somebody runs up to the stage and they put it on. But it's just little things that, while we're talking about something or I'm planting a seed, because also I'm unprofessional, which means I don't tell you what to think. I don't tell you what to believe. I tell people, don't believe anything that I say. 2 things I always say: don't believe a word that I say, and no learning allowed whatsoever. I just want it to be an environment of play. Why? Well, how many studies have they done where they said if you try to teach somebody something, it takes them 400, 500 repetitions, but if it's done through play, it's like 10, 15 repetitions. It's like the first time you hear a song, you're like, oh, that's cool. And then by the second time you hear it, which now is beautiful. You just rewind it instead of just waiting for the next time for them to play in an hour. Now you get the chorus. By a week later, about 2 weeks later, you have the entire song in your head memorized. You never tried to learn it one time. Why? Because play was created, activating the body, and then learning was achieved. If you're forced to learn how to ride a bike, you're not going to be able to do it. But if you see your friends ride a bike, you activate, you ride the bike. But everybody does it backwards. Everybody does it backwards because, unfortunately, the government schools are designed, not unfortunately, I mean, if they weren't, I mean, who would be doing the 90% of things that AI robots are going to be doing in 3-5 years?
Gotcha.
So that's the important part, is having people understand that they don't have to do anything their brain says. One other trick that I learned, if you have a negative thought, imagine you're on the train track. Not on a train, you're on what's the thing that you're about to step onto the train?
What, the steps? I mean, the trolley?
Yeah, that big thing that you stand on, like in the Matrix. What's it called? You walk down the stairs and you're and then the train pulls up and you stop.
Subway?
What?
Subway?
Yeah, no. See, how great is it that our brains just don't? We're too intelligent, somewhat people, but our brains just have a stupid platform. Dang you, platform! But here's the thing too: is like our brains. People don't understand. Our brains just have brain farts and brain hiccups. But there's people in life that because they have so little going on, their brains are on, their hearts are off. They just look for an opportunity to go. How could you not know its platform? Because nothing exists. Nothing exists in their joy and their happiness. They're so dark because they've allowed their hearts to shut off. They've never taken responsibility that they shut their own heart off. And now any opportunity to just tell a child, what did I tell you? Dopamine. And that's the other thing that I need people to understand. There's two really important to hit the points that I need to make when I do any training. One is our dopamine system. Our dopamine system is so needed. And I joke around and I say, why do you say to a child, you get what you get and you don't get upset? What did I tell you? What did we talk about? Are you making good choices? Are you following my directions? It doesn't do anything for the child. The sole purpose is the human being feels like they're right, sends a message to the body, shot of dopamine. You make the child wrong, you should be. Should, that's the other word. When you say should, you create an expectation based on no reality that this child should be looking at me in the eyes, and you get mad at the kid. But if you do my training or you do a heart training, you'll stop, you'll pause, you'll ask yourself, you'll feel, I don't want to feel this way. You'll go, I wonder what my next thought will be. And your brain goes blank, and then you'll do a cold breath. Take your tongue, put it behind the back of your bottom teeth like this, and you can go, and then you take another cold breath, and you look at the kid. And instead of that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn thing, you've now calmed yourself, and now your heart's on, and your heart goes, hey, why don't you ask him what his family tells him about? I mean, he's 3, he's 5. Okay, like relax. It's not all about you, Princess Peanut Butter Cups. And then I didn't get attention, so everything's got to be about me. That's why I just did. I was just the closing keynote for the National Head Start Association 60th anniversary conference. A goal I had for 7 years, in front of 5,000 people. Boom, done. Now I need arenas. I mean, it's just like Kevin Hart syndrome. It's got to get bigger and bigger. So I need attention. One time I said I love you to my mom, and she said thank you, and I almost burst into tears. That's the plateau. So I need you to get like where I'm coming from here. So if you have a teacher that just stops and goes, what does your mommy or daddy tell you about eye contact? And now it's win-win. Instead of win-lose, you get dopamine, you make the child wrong, you're right. The child looks at you as you're becoming even a bigger monster. And then the child maybe might say, well, my mom and dad said if you look at an adult in the eyes, then you're not being respectful, you're being rude. And then your heart's like, oh, so that's why they're not looking at you in the eyes, because they've been trying the entire time to be respectful, but your brain needed to be right. Congratulations. You either crushed the child or you created a real bond with that child.
Man, wow.
And the choice is yours. But people don't know that. You don't know that if your entire existence of school to college to get a job is brain. But man, if you can get to Peru and do an ayahuasca ceremony, or you get somewhere and you do like in Ibogaine, I did an Iboga, ceremony about 2 years ago. And now in Texas, the former governor has a $50 million grant, and they're doing Ibogaine studies because in one adventure, in one ceremony trip, whatever you want to call it, people that have horrible PTSD and trauma and all these different things, it's being solved because this is an African tree bark. I did it 2 years ago. It was magical. That's when I saw what happened to me at preschool that had me call myself evil and disconnect with my inner child. And once I cried it out and I apologized to my inner child, I mean, like when my wife picked me up, because it was at this beautiful place. This lady doesn't live in Florida anymore, but it was at this beautiful retreat. They had medical people there and a pool, and it was wonderful. And she picked me up, and she's like, "You're so gentle." Because the Ibogaine like rewires everything, and it also it pretty much turns a projector on for 24 hours. This might scare people, of every single trauma that's happened. So you can see it, experience it, watch the videos come up when your eyes are closed, work through it, yell, scream, rage. 2 minutes go by, boom, boom, boom. You do 2 or 3 of those, your body feels different. And now you get closer. And then that's when you look 10 years younger. Because we age ourselves believing that we're supposed to keep emotions down.
Yeah, I believe that.
Drink this, smoke this, take this pill, do this and do that. You want to help the kids every day for 1 to 2 minutes. Ready? Announce it over the loudspeaker. Everyone, scream as loud as you can. Teachers, ready? It's like the purge. You do like a button where it's like 10 seconds, 9. Teachers, put in your earbuds. Teachers, reach into your thing. This is a great idea. I just thought of this. Teachers, put on your ear things, and then take on your maybe we can get, what's his face? Dre to sponsor this, and you put on the Beats by Dre, and then ready, 3, 2, and the kid, maybe some tears, blah, blah, blah. We create a world of no judgment. Let's go. Who's the best screamer? Blah, blah. And then everybody's just chill.
Everybody's back. Yeah. Man.
Good, man.
So such a wealth of knowledge, and there's so many things. I wish we had all day, but we don't.
I got till 3:30, and then AEW Collision comes on, and then at 7:00 Saturday night's main event, John Cena's last match
is on.
Oh, you're a wrestling fan? Oh.
I don't know if I'd say fan, but I dabble occasionally. But let's see here.
Dabble.
Well, I have another appointment shortly after this podcast appointment. But what I do want to ask you is, I want to talk about 2 things before I let you go.
Yes, sir.
Actually, 3 major things. Let's see if we can fit it in like 15 minutes. 3.
Okay, let's do it.
I want to talk about Yogarate.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about your stance when it comes to bullying and your message about students standing up for themselves that got you in a little bit of, I guess, I don't want to say trouble per se, but and then lastly, I definitely want to know what was your motivation, or what made you want to focus on early childhood. Now, this is probably going to be a stereotype, but I know in my little bubble, or my little village of educators and my personal network, I don't think I know too many men that are in an early childhood. Probably, I think maybe in my village, probably 1. And so I want to know about that as well. So those 3 things are the things I would really want us to.
Right. So pick one. You can't do that to me. You can't be like, pick. That's like you going like this. And that's like you taking three garden hose and go take your pick.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for the pick.
Let's focus on why you chose early childhood.
After I did the Landmark Forum, I dropped out of college and I went to my karate teacher that I was learning how to be a better fighter because I wanted to go wrestle in Japan. And anybody that doesn't look like them, they try to beat the crap out of them. So I needed to learn like legitimate martial arts. So, I mean, he was no joke, this guy. I did the Landmark Forum. I remember teaching my little cousin in Israel karate, and then seeing my uncle, his dad, after a week not be interested in the martial arts because he had to work. And my programming was about work. and money, money, money. So I'm just like, I want to teach kids karate. I learned that he was a elementary school teacher from a year ago. His wife was a preschool teacher. They both opened the dojo about a year before as they quit public schools. And for 2 years, I learned how to work with kids. And I love the preschool kid. They're my personality. I literally get on the floor with them at 300 plus pounds. I still squat down all the way and yell and scream and be silly. And I make noises, do this. And we're going to start filming a Yogarate green screen, which would be a nice segue to the next one. But preschool kids are fun. You can go on my YouTube channel, and there are hundreds of videos of me and my wife teaching Yogarate. And we're yelling and screaming. And this one kid's Isabella. So, your name's Isabelli. No, it's not. Yes. Like, I don't know anything better. There's people that their whole lives are focused on numbers on a screen. And the numbers have to get bigger, and they have nothing in reality, and they're cold and they're dead inside. And I look at these kids, and I see this one kid who's 2 named Kyla, and she didn't know how to do a karate duck, and now she did it because this girl, Alanis, who was 3, helped her do the karate duck. So she's practicing leadership while she's learning how to defend herself. And meanwhile, she might be Ronda Rousey in 15 years or whatever. So it's like preschool is the most fun. And also, the universe talks to me. Ever since I did my Reiki level 1, 2, and 3 training, and I opened up all the channels and everything, the universe whispers to me and tells me about things, like Yogarate, which we'll segue into. But basically, I was in college. I started my own personal training company as I was taking people away from the gym that I was working at because I didn't want them using weights. They didn't want mirror muscles. They needed to get their wrists, their ankles, their knees, their lower back stronger. And the why was the opposite of what they needed. They needed functional training. Anyway, so I started a personal training business. I was doing karate birthday parties, anything I was invited to. And there was in 2005, in November of 2005 or October, there was a preschool director there at a birthday party I was doing. And she's like, this is awesome. Can you do this in a preschool? Do you have lesson plans and curriculum? So I do what I always do and lie. And I go, yes, absolutely, because I'm a human. Yes, and as in the improv world. 2 months later, I started at this one preschool called the Goddard School, which has like 500 schools. And that's how I fell in love with preschools. I started a karate program, but then my business mindset kicked on, and I reached out to another Goddard school, and they're like, we have no interest in teaching our 2-year young kids karate, because that's what I was doing. So, do you do soccer? And I went, yes, and went to Sports Authority, bought 20 soccer balls, changed the registration forms from karate to soccer, went on there, second school I ever went into, and then by the time I was done, because I've been playing soccer longer than I was doing karate, and it was so much fun. I walked in there, I left, I had 30 kids signed up on $100 a pop, and I'm like, this is $3,000. And I started crying at the bank, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't have to have a job now, because having a job, you're a wrestling fan, so having a job, when you choose to job or choose to have a job, just my opinion, you're choosing to give up on your dreams, lay down on your back, and have somebody else pin you.
Right.
That's a jobber. That's that's why I try to get my friends away from being jobbers. So, but preschool I ended up building up a company. We were in 80 different preschools. I was teaching Yogarate at the Bright Horizons preschool at the United Nations for delegates kids. Wow. It was super cool. It's an adventure. And then from there, 2008, I was sitting with the director. I just started doing yoga about 6 months before. I noticed that karate and yoga had a lot of breath work to do. I'm like, I should do yoga and karate together. And then the roof lifted off, the light shone in, and then all I saw was yoga, the K and the A of the karate fell off, and I saw Yogarate just appear like a vision. I'm like, whoo! Ran home, USPT.gov, trademarked it, started, and that was a whole different journey because the business activated scarcity. And so that was awesome too. And then now, I've taught so many teachers Yogarate. The online course catalog, by the way, too, is if people go on for listening to this, if they're interested, they can go onto my online course library and type in the code free90, and they can get all my free courses, including how to be a Yogarate teacher. So you can teach your kids how to do it. I also tell people, if you have a neurodivergent exceptional kid, give them the course. So have them to teach you. And But then Yogarate just expanded. Now it's a keynote. Now it's a training. I have a character that I do, this whole Yensei, who's a yogi sensei. We just set up a screen room in our second bedroom, and we're going to start filming a Yogarate green screen TV show.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I think I hit 2 of the questions. What's your time out? How much more time you got?
I am going to have to unfortunately let you go. We got 2 out of 3 though. We got 2 out of 3. But before you do, I just need you to sign off and let everyone know that wants to can follow you and use your resources and all that stuff. Where can they find you? What's the best way to find you? Best way to contact you and all those things?
100%. So my name, Ron Shuali, Shuali. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know if they still call it that, whatever. Facebook is Ron Speak. And then my website, it's what I do is called Unprofessional Development. So if you go to www.unpd, that's short for Unprofessional Development, .wtf. You know what that's short for, right? Wow, that's fun. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe your brain said something else. So unpd.wtf. All my stuff is there. I got tons of videos. My YouTube channel, Ron Shuali's youtube.com. You got to do some work to find my stuff, but it's awesome. There's so many videos. Everything's free. Go to unpd.wtf. Sorry. Click on the top where it says online courses, and any course that you want. There's a director's one. There's a stretching one. Get rid of sciatic pain, lower back pain. Free 90, FREE 90, and you get the whole course for free, 90 days.
Mr. Shuali, it has been
you got it.
It has been a pleasure, brother. It has been a pleasure. I'm definitely going to have to circle back and check in with you in the future.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about bullying. That's a whole nother world.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, sir.